Hey everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I'm Peter, that is Connor, and we are going to talk about Stranger Things 3, Chapter 2, The Mallrats. So, full spoilers for the episode, as always. So, we have, what do we start? I guess Billy, start with Billy.
That's where the episode starts, so why not?
Yeah. Billy is not dead, although he does seem to be infected. In some way. And we see him kind of run out of the basement he was dragged into, and he runs out and he gets in his car and he gets to a payphone and he's going to call for help, call for police or whatever. And it's like he kind of just goes into the upside down. Although I don't actually read it as he's actually in the upside down. I read it more as in his head because he's been infected. And I'm actually thinking this may actually be the main monster because the other version of him that shows up, the evil version to talk to him, says, "Take me to him." I think that monster wants to find Will. I think that monster wants some payback, and he's been spending his year looking for a way to break into the world, probably using whatever the Russians have done to get in.
It's just a little bit of convenience there for thanks Russians. But no, you're probably right. And I agree that the kind of he's not actually in the upside down; it's just that infection. We see a couple of times that he sees things that aren't actually happening. It almost
Yeah,
plays as almost like a wish fulfillment dream kind of, and then he snaps back to reality. We see
yeah,
that a few times in the episode.
yeah. It's like he's it reminds me of when, like, in some movies when they get possessed or something and they kind of go crazy and they start seeing things and it makes them do whatever.
It kind of reminds me of like a time travel thing, where they've seen something go wrong, and then it resets, but they remember, and they have that flash of the terrible thing that they've seen. That's the effect that I get when it shows some of these things. Like it's like a potential future, that he's seeing.
Um, yeah. I mean, that's a maybe is that just because you've been watching Dark? You're thinking of
No, it
times.
really struck me as like I don't even know what I've seen because there was nothing like that in Dark.
Well, no,
Um,
no, no. But like, it's just you're approaching it from a really weird kind of context. Like, to me, it's just like this is what the evil inside of him wants to do. So in the first case when he's with Karen and she's trying to talk to him, he like knocks her out, and then he kind of it turns out he was just thinking that, and then he just tells her to piss off, basically, right?
yeah,
But later on with the other lifeguards that he kidnaps, we end the episode with him taking her tied up back to the basement, where the monster, who doesn't seem to be full size, comes out and face huggers her essentially with one of its
yeah.
arms. And is she now also taken over? Like,
I think so.
are we,
I
are,
think kind of do like a body snatchers thing.
kind of, yeah. We're getting like a "who can we trust" kind of thing. Which, honestly, at one point in this episode, there was a poster for the Thing, and I wonder if we're going to be playing with the paranoia of who can we trust
I can see that.
throughout the season.
I think right now it's really obvious because of how out of it they are. So they need to be able to solve that. Like the entity needs to be able to solve that kind of angle if it wants to play up that angle on the show.
Yeah, I wonder if it's just because either he's fresh, or maybe it's just because it's the first person they infected, and it'll smooth out with each.
Yeah, maybe as he gets stronger,
Yeah,
it'll be better. Yeah.
because maybe the problem is that Billy was kind of fighting it because he wasn't comfortable. But as the stronger the monster gets and it gets complete control of everyone, it's like, no,
Exactly. That's what I'm thinking.
we can fake it. So that was basically his thing. I did like the contrast of we see him walking out to his chair again, but this time he's kind of like out of it and staggering, and he can't really.
It's really sluggish.
Yeah. So because in the first episode it was very much like the hot lifeguards walking out and like in slow motion,
with the
everyone.
swagger.
Yeah, everyone's like looking at him, and it's this moment, and they're kind of doing it again, but this time he's like, "Oh yeah, ladies, whatever." Like,
Yeah. Yeah, it
so
almost plays like he's really hungover.
yeah, that's probably what it looks like to them. That's probably how they
Yeah.
write it off. But yeah, so that was his thing. So we'll talk about the kids because obviously the kids are kind of a focal in a lot of ways. And Mike, and I like that they didn't feel the need to show us this scene because obviously we knew that Hopper was taking him home and he was going to have a chat. We see what the effect of the chat is, where he phones 11 and she's waiting for him, and she phones him actually because she's waiting for him.
She phones him because it's 9:32.
Yeah, and he's not there yet. He's late. Why is he late? And she phones him and he's like, "Oh, my grandmother's sick," and she's like, "No, but I thought Hopper said that was a false alarm," and he's like, "That." In fact, my funniest part of this actually is that
he just mouths going shit.
well, no, it wasn't that. It was the mum been on the phone. Karen, halfway through the conversation, goes, "What? Did Nana call you, Mike?" It's just like shit, and it was him. It was him like covering the phone, going, "Get off the phone, Mom! Get off the phone!" He's a proper angsty teenager now. It really made me laugh.
Yeah. Oh, that's something I don't miss.
Oh,
People, listening on the house phone.
oh yeah. Thing of the past now. Relic.
Oh, yeah.
Relic. I think it's interesting that he has his own personal phone down in the basement. To be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if it's not intended for him because he's always down there, then for what purpose was the phone put down there?
No, I think it's the equivalent of giving the teenager their mobile.
Sure, okay.
Like, you're giving the young teenager, all right, here's your first mobile. I mean, you don't get that now because you give them at like 6, but it used to be okay. Right? You're 10 now. You could have a phone.
Yeah, I guess being young enough that wasn't a thing when we got to that age. The house phone. I mean, like getting a house phone in your room.
Yeah. To me, it was okay. You can have a mobile now. When I was like 10 or 11.
Yeah, I never really cared about that, so I didn't get my first like mobile phone until a bit later. Like it was a fat because you hit about 10, 11. I remember it being like because that was when they started being popular, honestly, amongst kids when I was that age. And it was like a fad. Like everyone wanted their own phone, and I just didn't like give a shit. But like a couple of years pass and whatever. But my point, mate, is that we were not part of this generation, which I guess for a good few decades it was like, oh, you'll get an extension cord in your, you get a phone in your room, kind of thing.
Yeah, because you always see it in like teen movies, right? From this time period.
Yeah, especially with the girl characters, you always see the teenage girls with a phone in their room.
Yes.
So yeah, we have this, and then the best part of this, of course, is after he says, "Oh, Mum's calling me. I have to go. I can't see you today because we're doing nan things." 11's mad and slams her door, and then it just cuts to like Hopper eating his cereal just with this biggest shit-eating grin on his face.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, and then he drives down to Joyce, and he's like dancing in his car. He's got the music on. He's
like, I got this. This is great.
Yeah. We'll get back to their plot in a bit, but yeah, that was just a great effect of that. So, 11 goes to see Max. Max is skateboarding because she's cool, which we established last season.
She's not very good at it, though.
Not very good at it, but that's fine. You try to be as good as you can, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work.
Practice it.
But Elle shows up and like tells her everything, right? She's like, no, why would they do this? Why would they say this? I think he's lying. And friends don't lie. That was a line back in season 1, and he's like, no, he's lying to you. They may not lie to friends, but they lie to boyfriends lie.
Yeah.
Friends don't lie, but boyfriends lie. And you have to treat him like shit. You have to treat him like garbage. You're going to like ignore his calls. You're going to make him feel like crap. And then if he doesn't budge, you're going to dump his ass. And Loveland's like, whoa, like we're doing what now? Like, come on, we're going to go have fun. We're not going to, there's more to life than boys, right? Let's go to the mall. So they go to the mall, where she's not really allowed to go because too many people. But she takes her to the mall.
But Mac's like, hey, you got superpowers. What the hell's going to go wrong?
Yeah, so they go to the mall, and we get, the great, 360 shot as Elle comes in and like is looking up at all the stores, and the camera goes around her. And I was laughing during this, that because obviously throughout the episode and last episode they talk about how regular stores are dying because the mall's there, and all I can think about is how many malls have become like a wasteland.
I'm pretty sure you said this last time.
I did, but it was more relevant this time. It was when she was looking around and how like vibrant and like full of life everything was, and it was so exciting because they have the montage like, oh, you go to this store, you can go to this place to get something to eat, you can go to this stupid photo booth place, and I'm like, yeah, there's none of that. Everyone's it's just
Yeah, I mean, it's weird because where I live, there is still like they built a brand new shopping center, a mall like 2 years ago.
Oh no, you still get them, and there's still some but I feel like they definitely have changed now. I feel like most of the ones I've been to in the last like 5-10 years are nothing but clothes shops and then a food court. Like that's essentially all they are now.
I don't know. Mine's a bit different.
Okay.
So I've got stuff, but that has like the area that has like the activities and stuff like that. It does have that still.
All right, yeah. Well, no, I mean, we've got a separate thing actually where it's like a second mall, but it's just restaurants and like the cinema and like bowling, and it's just that.
No, mine's like it's a mall. It's got your cinema, it's got an area for the kids, it's got all your clothes shops as well. It's got electronic shops. It's got like sweet shops. It's got like proper variety. Um, and it's always busy, like still.
Yeah. You live
So
in a big city, though. To be fair, I
I
wonder.
do.
I
Yeah.
do wonder, like, because I always hear stories about like malls that feel like graveyards now. I wonder if you're in a smaller town, like how
Yeah,
different.
that's true. Because like I say, I'm in quite a big city, and it is always busy and bustling in the city centre.
Yeah.
So
I wonder how much it changes if you go somewhere a bit more rural. And there used to be a mall that was quite lively, but
now people just go to the big city instead because
Yeah.
it's easier.
But yeah, so we get this great montage of them, trying on clothes and the mall montage. It's this the typical mall montage.
Set to a Material Girl.
Set to Material Girl. Also
Which
very
I think
delightful.
came out in '84, so still pretty fresh.
That's fair. Yeah, I would never have really judged it though if it used a song from, because it's not like they're listening to the song.
No, I think you get away with it because it's like, I don't know, you can use a song from '87 that still feels '80s, right?
Yeah.
You can get away with that, but I get extra props for
Sure.
being available.
But yes, but we also intercut this with the boys who, because Lucas is like, I've messed up tons of times, hundreds of times. I've been dumped 5 times, but I always claw my way back. So you have to buy her something shiny that says I'm sorry. So
what, it has to actually say I'm sorry on it.
And Will's pissed because he just wants to play D&D. He doesn't want to do any of this.
I felt bad for Will. He's kind of just. He's not moved on from 2 years ago, whatever. Before everything happened.
Well, this is the thing. Will is easily the worst character, and it's not because he's bad. It's because his purpose in season 1 was to be the one that was kidnapped all season. So he didn't have a plot. He was just the kid who was gone. So having him back, and I felt this last season, to a point, is that we like all the other characters because those are the characters we spent time with. Will is just kind of.
Yeah,
there.
But no, I think you feel bad for him because everyone else has moved on. Right? They're growing up. They're going into new things. Will hasn't, because like I say, he was missing for a while, and then he kind of had all the traumatic experience afterwards. He kind of he's still mentally in the same place.
Yeah. But they're looking for stuff. But so that is a neat thing where it kept kind of cutting between. They were just missing each other multiple times. Where the girls would walk past and they'd be sitting just around the corner.
And it's not gonna last.
Yeah. And my favorite one actually is when we'll get to the Steve and Dustin plot, but they're doing their thing, and there's a point where Steve's talking to them through the little opening, and he shuts it and turns around and says, "Oh, here's your ice cream," and it's actually the girls, it's Max and Elle who are getting ice cream, and it's a neat little touch.
It is. It's nice.
Also, Elle explodes a Mean Girls soda into her face. Also delightful. So.
Yes, because they were laughing at her when she fell over in the high heels.
Yes.
Because she's never worn high heels. Speaking of high heels, Karen, what the hell are you playing at? Why the hell are you wearing heels by a swimming pool?
So, you know what? I'd love to give you shit for complaining about this, but I'm not going to lie, I kind of noticed this as well. I'm like, this feels like a weird choice. Why are you wearing... I guess it's because she wants to... I mean, admittedly, this is after... Because we find out she chose not to go to the motel. She actually made the choice to stay home. Because it was kind of undefinitive at the end.
It left it open, right?
Yeah. So I was going to say she wants to look sexy because she's going to be in front of Billy, but she's already made the choice not to go through with that, so...
This is just weird. Like, this feels highly unsafe.
I'm going to say it's... As much as you think this is weird, I'm going to say it's not actually that uncommon. In certain places.
Maybe. I have personally never seen it. But it doesn't mean it doesn't happen.
I am willing to bet that in several areas of California, this is probably the most common thing in the world.
I believe you, because California's a shell.
I'm willing to bet you. Not that this is California, that we're in a... oh my god. I know which state they're in, damn it. I remember it. Oh... It's going to come back to me later. I'm going to be pissed. I'm going to be pissed that I can remember it on the recording.
I know. I can do the town, but
Give me the town again.
Hawkins, right?
Indiana. Hawkins, Indiana. I just need. That's all I need.
Do you know what's really annoying?
What?
That bloody horse told us it was Indiana.
Oh.
Later on.
I was like, the horse? What horse?
There are comments shouting at us.
Do I know why I remember that? Is because Millie Bobby Brown was on one of the late chat shows, and she did like a rap. This was before season 2 came out.
Oh, I remember that.
She had a rap recap in season
the rap
1.
Recap, yeah.
And the start of it was Hawkins, Indiana, circa 1983. I always remember that being the opening line.
I never listened to the whole thing, so it never stuck with me.
But yeah, so they're just missing each other. Make ask how much this pendant is. This little bear, and they come out being shocked and appalled that it's $300 when he only has about $350 on him.
I love that, it cuts out, like, kind of bleeps the swearing. He says, "I'll shove it up his ass."
Yeah.
And as it's being, it's the cash register noise from the song.
Yeah.
I was like, that was nice.
It cuts as well. I think it cuts to the next. The girls again. Like there's a cut at the end of a sentence where he's about to swear again. I'm sure.
Maybe. Not that one, but maybe it was after that one. But that one was definitely the.
It's definitely that scene when they walk out of the store. It was definitely the end of that shot that it cut.
Okay. Maybe it's right after
on a sweary. But no, all this stuff was just really fun. It's them being in their element. I was actually wondering, because he mentioned his financial situation. I was wondering how the girls, like, do they have money? Like, does Max have a decent amount of pocket money? Because she's bought Ella a dress and some ice cream here and some sunglasses for herself. So I was like, all these kids go to the mall, but you
get an allowance.
Need money for that. I'm just saying. I don't know. Do you think Hopper's giving out Elle spending money?
I think Elle just takes it.
With the old telekinesis trick, yeah,
exactly. Just lift the wallet out of the pocket. You'll never know.
But of course, as they're leaving the mall, the boys are getting their bikes, and the girls see them, and we get a bit of a standoff, shall we say? And it's really just between two of them. But Max is sort of standing there with her arms folded,
and Lucas is there going, "Oh, Mike, just stop."
And Lucas is trying to kind of back up the story a little bit,
but you can see on his face as soon as Mike's like, "Oh, but we're here for my nana," and you can see Lucas go, "God damn it, Joe, digging a hole." But then he's like, yeah, that's what we're here for.
Joe, what frustrated me about this, though, is that Mike does actually go on to start to tell the truth. And I just wish that he made it clear that he was like, okay, that was a lie, but I am here to buy you something. Because he was going into that general idea.
Like, we're buying stuff for Nana, but I'm buying it for you as well.
Yeah. And, Elle said, get us straight up and why, you lie. Why did you lie? And he just can't say anything. And of course, us knowing what we know, we're like screaming at him, just say Hopper threatened you, just do it. Like, because if he tells her, she'll be mad at Hopper, not him. Like, she will completely divert who she's mad at, because she'll completely, I mean, she might be pissed that he went along with it, but when he's like, no, he said that we'd never see each other again, I had to take the day off. Like, this was, a mandated thing. Like, but at the same time, he also thinks that if he tells her, then that's also going to make Hopper go through with it, because that's him breaking his promise or whatever. So she just leans in and says, "Your ass is dumped."
I dump your ass.
I dump your ass. Yes, almost directly quoting what Max said earlier on.
That's why I remembered it so well, because it made me laugh.
So, and then they go off out of the bus and they're giggling and swapping ice cream, and they're happy as can be. And Mike is standing there.
Those two are great together.
Oh, they are great together. Now that they're a force to be reckoned with. Because last season it was like, okay, Elle had been away for a bit. She was maybe a little bit worried that Max was catching Mike's eye or whatever.
Yeah.
And now they're kind of like, no, we can be friends without the boys. We don't need the boys anymore. We can just be us.
I think Max might be my favorite character.
Oh, I love Max. I love Max.
Yeah.
Do you not remember jumping out in the Michael Myers outfit last season?
Oh, I remember.
That was a thing. That said, though, if you were going to put a fight on your hands, you would maybe bring up Dustin. Or maybe Dustin and Steve as a combo is maybe more accurate.
Yeah, but I can see by the end of the season, Robin putting up a fight.
Well, here's the thing, though. I would argue that the trio of Dustin, Robin, and Steve is maybe becoming a
Perfection.
thing that I'm starting to enjoy because
them versus the Russians is everything I want.
Because Dustin comes by and it's a scene. The other scene from the trailer that I really remembered was them like saying hi and fist pumping and the lightsabers and whatever, and Robin being like, "Oh, how many friends are you children with?" So he gives
how many children are you friends with?
You know what I mean? I think it works both ways, honestly. But he gets Dustin some free ice cream, and he's like, "Well, you can just have as much as you want." He's like, "Yeah, basically. I mean, I want to watch my figure because for the ladies." And I love it. Robin's listening to us like, "Yeah, how's that going there, Steve?" He's like, "Shut up." But he's like, "Okay, I need to tell you something," and we get this really weird joke where Dustin's like whispering so quietly that it's just like inaudible, like no one can.
Yeah.
And to the point where when Steve demands that he actually say it with some volume, he yells it so loud that every single person in the restaurant turns and looks at him. I intercepted a Russian spy conversation.
and Steve's like, "Yeah, maybe keep it down, buddy."
Yeah. This is after, of course, telling about the Susie who looks like, or is better looking than Phoebe Cates. Steve's doubting it. Of course, he's doubting it.
Of course he is.
So Steve ends up wasting some of his shift in the back trying to help Dustin translate Russian, and are shocked to find out that they use a completely different alphabet. So it's actually even harder than it, because they can't just listen to it phonetically and go, "Oh, I wonder." They have to actually find out what all the different letters look like.
Yeah.
And then once, so spell it out in terms of their letters, then translate it to the Russian letters, and then look up what the Russian word means, because that's how they can look it up.
Yeah.
But so eventually, Robin though says to them, "Hey, it's your turn to serve kids." Which, by the way, at this point, it's actually Lucas's little sister Erica who's demanding free samples of
every of every flavor, and then the same again.
Do you know what? I love the idea that we're never going to see her anywhere but the mall, because always the mall we see her in.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah. But she's like, "Hey, you're trying to actually do the job for like a while, and I'll help with this stuff, because you know what? I can speak like 4 languages." And
I love, even before like that point, she's like, "Hey, I know what you're doing," and you're against the Russians, and they're like, "What? How did you know?" She's just like, "You two are really loud."
Yeah, she basically points out point for point exactly what they're up to, and all the steps they've went through to get to their
including
current...
the alphabet, and they look shit.
But she's like, "No," and on top of all that, I don't even want credit. I'm just bored. Let me do something. So Steve goes to work, and they're translating stuff, and the Silver Cat was there. It was Yellow Meets Blue in the West, whatever it was, right?
Yeah. Oh man, God damn it! I should have written it down.
It down.
So about this week, the Silver Cat, when Yellow Meets Blue in the West.
Yes. Joe, what I love about the end of this plot, before we get to even what happens with them, is that it ends that they've stayed late doing this whilst everything else is closed. I can't wait for more nighttime
closed mall
stuff, because we're definitely going to get it. And you know why I love Dawn of the Dead? You know why I love Chopping Mall? I love stuff set in an abandoned mall. I love it. It's great.
It's a great setting.
So they're walking home, and the one point that Steve had earlier on is that he kind of recognized the music that was in the background.
And Dustin's like, "Don't listen to the music, listen to the words."
Yeah. But as they're walking back, and Dustin and Robin are like, "Oh, what if Silver Cat's a person, a weapon, a place, blah blah blah."
Yeah, because Steve's just like, "This is nonsense stuff." And they're like, "Well, I mean, it's a code, surely." And I love that Robin goes off and on and like explain like, "Hey, if you're going to do this, you're talking code," and just exactly, and he goes to like 6 points. You've got Steve going along on
for all the shit she was giving Steve for hanging out with Dustin, she's very quickly getting into the groove of being with Dustin and getting into
she's in on it now.
Yeah, but Steve's like, because at one point I did the thing where like, did Steve just get kidnapped? Because he just disappeared, and then they look back, he's like, "Oh, he's at the little horsey, the little mechanical horse."
And he's like, "Give me a quarter, quick."
Yeah. And it's like, why? And she's cracking some jokes about, "Oh, you sure you can keep steady in that thing, little Stevie," and so on.
Yeah.
And exactly, as soon as the music starts playing, you're like, because even when I heard it the first time, I was like, that sounds like the sort of music that plays a carousel or
yeah,
something.
Carousel. Yeah, this is the same sort of thing.
Yeah, and sure enough, they all recognize it. And the big revelation here for this plot is that transmission, at least one side of that conversation, was coming from here.
Yes, presumably the mall itself.
Yeah. Because they say, oh, well, maybe that's common music. You could hear it all over. And it's like, well, nah, because it's
the Indiana, or whatever it was.
So it came from here. So again, the reporter dude, like, he is going to be like, he's right. There's a Russian spy in Hawkins.
This is brilliant.
It's great. And this is the thing, we said, like, plot should be more moving in episode 2, and I think like, not everyone's in on the main plot. The Billy thing moved on its own. This investigating the Russians moved on its own to a nice revelation. Obviously we're going to get to Nancy and Jonathan and what they do, and that's tying into things. But like, everything moved forward on their own. It's
weirdly just like the kids, and then Joyce and Hopper that were very separate.
It's funny that the kids outside of Dustin aren't in on it, because typically in the past seasons they have been closer to the first ones, to be in on a lot of this stuff, but. So we, no, I like this Dustin, Stevie, Robin plot a lot. Into it. So we'll jump over to Jonathan and Nancy, who, she's got this thing. She asked for the lunch off. So, oh, can one of the other girls get the lunch? And she uses the women problems to scare the guy into accepting.
When did that stop working?
When at least some of us, and when I say us, I mean men, got less stupid and not scared of it. Because I feel like
that just doesn't work now, right?
No, I can't.
I mean, you might go. I'm not saying you don't give them take what you need. I'm not saying be unreasonable, but the horrified reaction of don't want to hear about it.
Yeah, the stereotype of, you can do whatever you want, just don't tell me about it. Yeah, that stereotype. Yeah. No, that doesn't work. I mean, but I guess it's because we, as a society, we have slightly grown up a little bit. So
right. No, I'm just wondering when was that shift? Like, because you always see this in media, but I don't know. I don't know when it actually happened.
I feel like I've not seen it in like a sitcom since maybe the early 2000s.
Yeah, that's probably about right.
It's been a while. I definitely think of it as more of a 90s and 80s thing than I do past that.
Yeah, me
too. But anyway, so, and she goes out of the dark room again, pissing off Jonathan again, and she's like, "Hey, get your camera, let's go." So this is very Lois and Jimmy, by the way. This is like, get your camera, go, come on.
It really
we got a scoop.
Yeah.
And this is a bad idea. No, it's not. We're not going to ask for permission. We ask for forgiveness after. And if it's a great story, it's not going to be a problem. So let's go and interview this woman who called about the rats. So they go out and see, and we see that they've been chewing through things, and that the woman thinks they may be rabbit or something like that.
What I thought was interesting is it was like the fertilizer chemicals that they were going in for, and she was like, "Oh no, they're eating it," and they're like, "Oh no, maybe they just chewed through the bag. They wouldn't be trying to eat that." But it very much looked like Billy was drinking some chemicals when Karen walked in on him.
It does. It's almost like their diet once they're infected,
like they're trying to feed on these things.
But we get a rat that she's caught, and Jonathan's trying to take photos of it, and we get another rat pop, and
but conveniently just after they left the room, so he didn't see it.
But I thought this looked great, and then the extra bit we got this time though is that after it popped, the mucus started moving on its own, and it was like dragging itself across the floor.
I thought this looked a lot better than the rat popping last time. I wonder if it was just because there was so many of them last time.
Maybe, but this one pops. It looks great, and then it's dragging itself across the floor. Which, I mean, if I was mentioning the paranoia with the thing, this was also very Thing-like to me. Is the idea of like new parts of it growing out of the old body and then moving around?
Kind of the shape. Yeah, I'm with you.
So I think we may get, if last season was the Aliens kind of homage, I feel like this season might be a Thing homage. Although notably set in July instead of winter, because why not? But
yeah, why not?
Maybe they don't want to just draw too many comparisons. That's too much.
Don't want to make it that obvious.
Yeah, we're in snow again. Damn it.
Yeah.
So that was their thing, and Nancy's gets the lead by the end of this plot. She knows where to go next. Which I'm actually forgetting exactly how she got that. So she phoned the pest control place.
Yeah.
And asked about rats. That's how it did.
Yeah. I thought this stuff was fine. I think these two were kind of the least interesting stuff last season. I think they're by necessity a little bit more interesting here because they're the most directly involved with the main plot. But I think it's their stuff feels a little bit drier than everyone else's. Don't know. There's a little bit less banter. It's just not as entertaining to watch their stuff, at least to me.
No, I mean they're not as instantly likable as the others, but like I feel like it's a weird thing where you feel the need to point this out, but it's not like I don't watch their scenes and go, oh no, it's their scenes now. I need to be bored.
No, I don't
for
feel
a minute.
that bad, but I always feel it by the end of the scenes where, because even like it's not just the kids. You have like Joyce and Hopper. Every other character. Whenever there's there's more than one of them, it feels like they're playing off each other a bit more. Whereas these two kind of feel a little bit flat together.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, their scenes are so short, and that I don't even really think about because it feels like it's always doing plot stuff. And her doing the whole women problems thing to get out of the lunch duty, if you will. There's bright spots in there. I mean, I don't disagree that they're the least interesting because they are the least interesting, but it's just fine enough. So going to Joyce and Hopper, as I said earlier, speeds down to talk to her. He's so excited. He's like, "Oh, boundaries were set. Order has been restored." He's so happy.
And she's like, "And you did all this for that? Yelled at him?" Yep.
Yeah. You remembered everything to say it. Well, yeah. I mean, I did have to improvise a little bit when it with the occasion called for it, but it was getting to Mike. That was the key. Threatening him. He's like, "I'll tell you the details over dinner," and he's like, he insists, and he's like, "Oh, this is not a date." And he's like, "I don't think it was a date." "No, I'm just making sure you know it's not a date." And he says I'm a date, and they kind of like, "Oh, I'll pick you up at this time." She's like, "No, we'll meet you there at that time." He's like, "Okay, I'll meet you there." Blah blah blah. Right. But once again, one thing we actually didn't mention last episode was the magnets falling off the fridge because it did happen once.
It felt relatively insignificant in that moment.
Well, it was clearly going to lead to something. It was
but it felt insignificant in the episode. It was okay. Now there's a second time. It's a pattern. Yeah,
because it happens in the store, and she's reading books to try and figure it out, and she ends up going to the school teacher, the science club guy, and he has this big entrance where at first she thinks she's not there, but you can't hear because of the music, and he opens the garage door and everything opens up and. So she goes to him because he knows he's shit basically, and he kind of explains, okay, this is how it could happen, and he does like a little demonstration with a battery and some wire and whatever.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, okay, but how does this happen? He's like, well, it's maybe just you're seeing a pattern. There's not really a pattern,
Yeah, he was like, I mean, honestly, kids probably knocked into the fridge. Hopper probably knocked them on his way out.
Which
and you just made it into a pattern in your mind.
Well, to be fair though, I don't think with the house we saw them fall down on their own. Whereas I think or maybe we did. I feel like we did see a shot towards the end of the last episode where they fell down again. Did we not?
Maybe, I'm not entirely sure.
No, I mean, I would assume it is a pattern and it's not just coincidence because it's in the show. But
yeah,
I'm trying to remember.
No, but even if we'd seen that, she didn't. So him explaining it to her would be like, "Oh yeah, I mean, kids probably just knocked over, and you're seeing a pattern because that's what people do."
And he's like, if this was covering the distance from your house to the store in town, it would cost millions and millions, and it would be a huge device to pull this off.
And the power it would draw.
Yeah, which
might explain a power cut.
May explain a power cut.
That's the whole city.
Yeah, which makes me think it's not a device per se, but it's more to do with whatever's coming from the upside down.
Yeah,
I mean, maybe it turns out maybe the Russians are trying to power a device. Maybe they're in town.
It could be the device they're doing to open because we know that's their objective, right? Is to open the door, or at least it seemed to be. Maybe this is a byproduct of that device. It's just a side effect.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, and that'll lead the investigation to that side of things. What the Russians are doing. Outside of what Dustin and that are investigating.
Yeah.
So that's really cool. And then. Hopper's side of it, though, he has to deal with the mayor, who wants the protesters removed because they're all upset that their jobs have been taken because the mall's opened. And he's a bit of a sleazy prick, you know. Is like because Hopper tries to argue, I'm not a politics guy, but you know, forcing them away might hurt your re-election chances. He's like, no, I'm going to have a big July 4th thing in like a few days' time. We're going to be fine, but just get rid of them. Essentially.
Yeah, I mean, he's not wrong though. He's like Hopper's like, oh yeah, well they got a right to protest. It's like, and the man's like, they do, if they obtained the permits from your office, and did they? Well, no. So he's not entirely wrong.
Yeah, but this is one of these like, yeah, technically, like moments.
Yeah, no, he's getting it through on a technicality.
Yeah,
Don't get me wrong.
but you praising this is exactly why people think you're a cynical prick.
True, but my point, what I was going to lead into is it gives Hopper an easy way of just kind of just doing it and going, right, sure, it's by the rules, fine, and not having to really listen to the people who are out there. Well, because the mayor has the standing, you know, the
sure,
correct ground.
But I think the more important point of this scene though is not that. I think the more important point here is I think Hopper actually, I don't want to say he supports what they're protesting necessarily, but he does think just let them have the right to do it. Like they're not doing any harm. They're not a violent protest or anything like that. He's like, just let them be.
He definitely does, but you know, when he comes out and he's handcuffing the guy, it's like, come on, you know, just get, you know, get through the proper channels.
But because the reason why I'm pointing that out though is because I think the important thing of this scene is it's the character differences between the two of them. The mayor, well, technically right, is just abusing the system just to like satisfy his own ego and want. Whereas Hopper's like, yeah, technically they didn't get a permit, but I'm happy to let things like this go on because it keeps people at peace and happy. You know, it's like
he's willing to not always follow the rules to the letter of the law.
Yeah, he knows like
the moral right.
Yeah, he knows that keeping the peace in the town sometimes means little things like this that aren't really hurting anyone. Just you know, it doesn't matter. Let it slide. Like, you know, like part of it's being a people person with the people that he's working with and around.
Yeah, I do think though there's a point later in the episode with him that shows that attitude could get very dangerous for him very soon. Well,
yeah, because when he's arresting the guy that we see, you know, someone comes up and says, "Hey, I got the thing ready," and you know, the deputy looks and he's like, "Well, that's a very colourful shirt for you." He's like, "Oh, it's top of the line," or whatever he says, or it's very modern or something.
It's a new fashion or something, yeah, along those
lines. But he's got a nice shirt, and I immediately went, "Oh, this is for his date." Oh, he's really excited. Look at him. He's like,
oh, this is good. As soon as you get that, it's like, this is going badly.
He's like a schoolboy. And it's one of those things where you're immediately like, you're a bit hypocritical, you know that? You're so excited about seeing Joyce, but you're giving Mike and Elle shit for wanting to be around each other. But he goes to the restaurant. He's got a nice suit jacket on. He sits down. He orders like wine.
He's like, yeah, give me a double scotch and then this wine, which he mispronounces the wine first.
Oh yeah, because it says Chianti instead of Chianti.
yeah. And the way, you know, it just kind of corrects him without being a dick about it, though.
Yeah.
And Hop's like, yeah, sure, yeah, 2 glasses of that for the lady, and you know, it's very clear she's not there.
Yeah, you know, it's maybe just a nice little subtle touch of saying he's in over his head. Just a little thing like that. But of course, this is when she's going to the teacher to figure out this problem. She's too busy.
She's forgotten all about the food.
Yeah, she's invested. She's got her head set on solving this magnet problem. So he leaves. He's drunk. He takes the booze. He says, "I'm the chief of police. I can do what I want." Because the waiter says you can't take booze off the premises. You know, it's not an off license. Yeah. He's like, "I'm the chief of police. Damn it, go away."
And I think that's the you know that attitude of he's willing to ignore things just, you know, to do what he sees as the right thing, could come back to be dangerous for him because he's like, well, you know, I can do what I want, and it's kind of powers go into his head a little bit. That
could be a plot beat that we go down. We'll see how this develops with Joyce next episode.
I was really noticing him smoking in the restaurant this time.
Oh yeah, sure, yeah.
I know there's been a lot of complaints about that. I don't know if you've seen this.
What do you mean?
About how much they're showing, because you know how like network TV can't show people smoking, right? You know, to not encourage people to smoke.
It's 70s.
No, I know. Bear with me. But there's been like a whole thing that, like, you know, it reviews, you know, how shows are, you know, good or bad at this, at showing it, and they're like, oh no, every episode shows people smoking, and Netflix responded saying, do you know what? Okay, we'll tone it down in future. Not just for this show, just across all their shows in general. Like, unless it's a character necessity, they won't be showing it anymore. And like I said, I get the argument of it's promoting it arguably, but like it's the 80s. Everyone was smoking everywhere.
I mean, I suppose the argument with this show is that it is kind of aimed at teens and younger people. So
yeah, the idea is, you don't want to make it seem too cool, right? Is the
yeah.
is the purpose of it? But if no one was smoking, I'd call bullshit.
What was I going to say? There's a mysterious biker who we see a couple of times in this episode. We get like a shot from behind as he's walking out the town hall. Or city hall or whatever you want to call it, and then he's at the bar like when Hopper's leaving, he kind of like the guy looks around because he kind of bumps into him a little bit. So
he looks Russian.
It's two scenes with Hopper specifically. I don't know if he's necessarily following Hopper because he's already at town hall. When Hopper's there, it's not like he goes where. Whereas here, it's like he could have followed him to the restaurant and been at the bar to wait for him.
Because it seems Hopper's there quite a while.
Yeah. So presumably someone's following him. Presumably maybe Russian. We'll see.
He looks like a Russian.
He looks Russian.
He's got a Russian-looking face.
So that's going on. That's the thing that's happening. Have I missed any characters this time?
I don't think so. We did all the kids.
Did the kids? Did the adults? Did Billy? Did the Stevie triangle? We did. Joyce and Hopper.
And Joyce,
Jonathan and Nancy. Yep, there we go. We've done the rundown. I have to keep it right in my head because there's so many goddamn characters. But yeah, that's episode 2. So no, I'm liking the pace of this season so far. Actually, I think this episode was really nicely. We still feel like we're in the early part of the story, but everything feel like it moved forward in every single plot.
With the exception of most of the kids who are, they move forward in their own, characters.
Well, that's what I mean, though. Like everything accomplished something. It wasn't just nothing felt like it was wasting time.
No, I'm with you on that.
Yeah. Which is interesting because once again, we're probably going to have the kids broken. Dustin seems to be with Steve and Robin, and might be for a bit now. The girls will be separate from the rest of the boys, and it'll be kind of a fun thing when they eventually have to group up, and maybe. I'm kind of looking forward to Elle finding out that Hopper threatened Mike.
Yeah, I'm assuming Will is the one that brings them all back together.
Very possibly, yeah, because he's the one.
Because he's got to do something.
Sensing stuff, yeah. Because he was really like, even though the scenes were mainly about Mike, when it was like them talking about getting a gift for Elle, like Lucas was the guy like giving the advice and was the other important part of the scene.
He was always there just going, can we go play D&D now?
Yeah, Will was just around. Will was just like this spare tire that was doing nothing. It was kind of sad.
To the point where when they first ran off, they left him in the basement.
Yeah. He's like, guys...
And he was like, I'm still here.
I'm still here, guys. Can you come down? No. Things have changed. Go help Dustin. He wants some translating help.
Yeah.
Oh, dear. All right. So... Steve just got this job because he'd applied before Dustin went to camp, but now that he's came back,
sometime in the last month.
Yeah, so he's just got this job, which makes sense if the mall's just opened. I guess everyone working at the mall's only been there for a little while.
You'd think, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I didn't realize it was that close though. That it's literally just opened in the last couple of months.
Yeah, I think the mall itself has probably been open a few months, enough for it to have had an impact on the high street shops.
Last season was set around Halloween. I wonder if they aimed for just before Christmas to open them all because Christmas season, but maybe not. I guess it doesn't really matter. If you're ready when you're ready.
You are. Like I say, it has to have been a few months for it to have been shut in businesses because they wouldn't shut after just 1 month.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. I noticed actually. I don't know if it was this episode or last episode, but Joyce was putting up a banner that said sale up to 70% off to try and entice people in.
Yeah.
I was like, oh dear. See if the mall's hiring Joyce. But I don't know how many references I made in the first 2 seasons about the main mum in the show being called Joyce, but I mean, I'm kind of impressed that I don't do it every episode.
Do you know what the weird thing is? I don't think you've done it on a single episode, and I think you should keep that going.
Oh no!
I think you should save it. This should be just something that you can do on the very last episode of the show. It'll be a special moment.
Because let's be honest, Winona Ryder here is not the first person I think of when I think of a Joyce, a mum Joyce on a TV show. I think of Joyce Summers from the hit television show Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
And you went and ruined it.
I didn't ruin nothing. I brought it to life.
Ruined.
Brought it to damn life. But that has been episode 2 of season 3 of Stranger Things. So you can let us know what you thought of the episode in the comments below. You can like and subscribe, all that stuff. Get us on the Twitters at mailed_fuzz for channel updates. Rate the podcast on Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. Helps us out a lot and spreads the show out to new people. You can support us financially by going to patreon.com/mailfuzztv, where you can support us for as little as $1 per month and get some bonuses and early stuff and all sorts of goodies. So go and have a look over there. As for other content that we do that you should go check out, we did just finish Dark Season 2 from Netflix. We literally just recorded the finale, so by the time this goes up, the finale of that will be up. In terms of Netflix stuff coming up soon, Dear White People and Glow, the next seasons of those are both coming at the start of August, so you can look forward to reviews of that. And yeah, so there we go. That is some promotion stuff. But that's it. So thank you once again for watching or listening. We always appreciate it. Keep watching TV, guys. Have you got any vanilla?